What's up guys, this is Ray and welcome to Asian Filmist. And let's keep talking about superhero films in this month of April. So today we'll be talking about the 2004 Miike Takashi movie Zebraman, and it stars Aikawa Sho, a regular of Miike Takashi's works. Now Zebraman, this will definitely be one of the most unique and bizarre superhero films you will ever watch. And the story of Zebraman, it's about this elementary school teacher by the name of Shinichi, and he has pretty much nothing going good in his life. He's not the most popular teacher in school. As a matter of fact, all the students hate him, they despise him, they kind of laugh at him. And he even has problems at home. No one at home listens to him. His wife cheats on him. His son just despises him because he's a teacher at his school. And his daughter is involved with compensated dating or juvenile prostitution. So to escape from these problems in his real life, he cosplays as his favorite superhero from the 70s, Zebraman. And he kind of escapes into his own dream world. He puts on the costume and plays around in his room and just pretends he's the superhero of his dreams, as what that he admired as a child. But during this time in this story, which takes place in 2010, crimes start mysteriously becoming more rampant in his neck of the woods. Stories of theft, of rape, of murder start escalating, and there are even sightings of monsters to have been reported. He soon discovers that there are these green, kind of flubber-looking aliens who are invading his city, taking over humans, controlling their minds, and making them do their bidding. So it's up to Shinichi, dressed up as Zebraman, just a regular guy trying to save the day. But the funny thing is, as he fights these bad guys, he discovers for some reason that he starts to have superpowers on his own. And so let's talk about the positives and negatives I felt were in Zebraman. First, the positives, of course. I find the kind of comedy in the story just absolutely funny. It's bizarre, it's quirky, and often awkward, but you just can't help but laugh and just smile at how weirded everything is. And this type of awkward comedy, I feel it's something that only Japan can bring, let alone something Miike can only bring. And something that I appreciate as a tokusatsu superhero fan is that it takes common tropes of the genre and plays around with them and ultimately satires them. For example, what usually in these superhero shows, the superhero comes into the scene with a big dynamic jump, making a very loud appearance. But whenever Zebraman makes an appearance, he's always kind of creeping out from around the corner or from the hallway. It's just kind of weird. Like the bad guy, they're just doing their own business, and they just kind of look off camera. Then there's Zebraman just peeking out like this, and then the battle starts. It's just weird. And even the types of monsters or bad guys that are featured in these tokusatsu superhero works, we get kind of remixed versions of them in Zebraman. For example, there's a guy who wears a crab on his head and murders people using a pair of scissors. So I guess he's a crab man. And there's even a scene where a bunch of school kids get possessed by aliens and they go on just wrecking this marketplace with baseball bats, and they just take watermelons, they throw them on the floor and just go dive and eat them like there's some kind of rabid animals. And it's just weird. Usually you get the possessed kids in superhero tokusatsu TV shows, but then the way they're featured here, it definitely has a Miike twist to it. It definitely has a darker edge. And there's a balance between the dark stuff you would expect in a Miike film with the quirky comedy that everyone seems to be hyping this movie about. I mean, not only the times when Zebraman makes his appearance into a fight, but even the times when Shinichi, he puts on his Zebraman outfit and he runs outside because he wants to show his suit to one of his students who also happens to be a Zebraman fan. And when Shinichi's running outside, it's a combination of joy, like, yeah, look at my Zebraman costume, to like, oh, please don't look at me in my Zebraman costume. And when he escapes from reality into his fantasy world, he's always in his room with the Zebraman costume on. So he's fighting and beating up against pillows or punching bags in his room, calling out the names of Zebraman's special attacks as he's doing so. And you can tell he's having a ball of a time. And the funny part is, that kind of action is stuff that usually kids do. I mean, those kinds of shows here are marketed towards children, and they're the ones who primarily buy the merchandise. And when they do, then when they buy the latest superhero gear, they often copy the superhero. So it's just funny seeing Aikawa Sho, of all people, mimic Zebraman and mimic these kinds of children, these children's habits in this film. And that being said, Aikawa Sho is perfectly cast as the lead character. I can't really imagine anyone else in this role. I felt his portrayal of Shinichi was perfect. Shinichi being a guy who no one loves, always has family problems and has problems at work, both with the students he teaches and also with administration. And he goes from this guy that nobody likes, nobody finds interesting at all, to someone who saves the world and then everyone loves. And I like the suit, the Zebraman suit, well, I guess suits, because he goes through a couple suits in this film. The first suit really looks like it's from a 70s superhero show, and it looks to be made of some cheap fabric or just easy to move around fabric. But then later on in the final act, he kind of upgrades to a more modern style suit with more muscles, and it looks like it's made from different material and just looks all around more badass. And the monsters that Zebraman fights, as I said earlier, they definitely do give off this kind of weird, eerie, and horror kind of feeling, which I believe only Miike could pull off. And the icing on the cake is the music. I love the music, especially the theme songs of Zebraman that play, and even Zebra Nurse, who the Zebra Nurse ends up being Shinichi's fantasy of the mom of one of his students, and in his imagination, he imagines her as his sidekick. But whenever a theme song plays, it's just funny. If you're a fan of 70s tokusatsu superheroes, even Kamen Rider or Super Sentai for that age, it has the same kind of feel, and it delivers somewhat a sense of nostalgia. Granted, Zebraman is not a hero from the 70s. If you were to take the footage they show that they say it's from the original 70s show, isolate that and plug in the theme song on top of it, you could fool anyone into believing that it's a legit old school superhero TV show. Let's talk about the negatives of Zebraman. As funny and quirky as the story was, many times throughout the movie, there are a lot of scenes, a lot of cuts that just ran on for too long, that they just let the camera rolling and they just went on, but they didn't really bother to cut or edit many of those scenes. And a big gripe with Zebraman that many other people seem to also have is that the CG is notably bad. But many people say that it seems like the CG was intentionally made to be that bad. I guess you can go either way. The CG was just plain bad, but if it was intentional, then I think it really adds to the comedy and the awkwardness and the satire of the superhero genre as a whole. Lastly, I thought that the movie could have used some more action. They primarily focused on Shinichi and kind of the things going on wrongly in his life, as well as the mysterious happenings that are going around town. But they only have a few scenes of Zebraman actually kicking ass. But all that aside, overall, what did I think of Zebraman? To this day, I find absolute entertainment and enjoyment in watching it. Granted, that's just me as a tokusatsu superhero fan. And you can definitely see, if you're a Miike Takashi fan, you can see the Miike-isms, all the little twists and quirks that he puts into the story. And I think this movie will work better for fans of tokusatsu superheroes, or at least those who are familiar with Power Rangers. Because if a casual fan, or if a fan not familiar with that genre, if they watch this movie, they might be turned off by just how weird and bizarre everything is. But you never know. I know a few fans who don't watch Kamen Rider or Super Sentai or Power Rangers or Ultraman at all, but they watched Zebraman and they had a blast with it. But do I recommend this movie? Yes, of course I do. It's definitely one to check out if you want something unique and bizarre. And so yes, those are my thoughts on Zebraman. What did you guys think, or what kind of questions did you guys have? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow on Facebook and Twitter. And by all means, support Asian Films through Patreon. It really helps the channel a lot. Plus, you can take advantage of some fine perks. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again in the next video. Take it easy.